the first track I played, let me just find it. So it's kind of like, it's a bit wonky, so it's quite hard to keep in time. Let me find it. Yeah, so.
Let it all out. I wanna see a bitch let it all out. I wanna see a bitch let it all out.
Yeah, so. So I had that one playing over the Patrick DSP track. So I started with this one. And yeah, so I think you really have the opportunity to make your mixes a bit more unique by being able to play with 3 or 4 CDJs. I mean, what I like to look at it like a bridge, you know, this track, this Let It All Out track. I wanna see a bitch let it all out. I wanna see a bitch let it all out. It was like a bridge between the Patrick DSP track and then I think it was Lucas P track that I played. So it serves as like a narrative, like there's something linear happening between the tracks. Because, you know, this track, I had it mixing in with the Patrick DSP track and the Lucas P track and had the 3 of them going at the same time. So, yeah, it kind of serves as a little bridge, as a little, you know, conceptual continuity kind of thing. And I like to use tracks like this that you wouldn't necessarily hear in a techno mix. The vocal is kind of chopped up and it isn't perfectly quantized, so it's a bit difficult to mix at times, but it's a cool track because it's got more of a kind of Vogue ballroom feel to it, which is a genre that I'm really into as well. But, you know, don't really get to play that stuff in techno sets so much, so it's nice to kind of tease it in, especially when the tracks have vocals in. So, I mean, you can't just chuck any track over any track. I mean, the reason why I chose the Patrick DSP track and the Let It All Out track is because the Patrick DSP one is just like a straight drum track, really. So mixing that into this, like, so both of the tracks are flat here, so you can hear that this track, it really cuts through the mix, whereas this one just kind of keeps driving forward. So yeah, I mean, the Let It All Out track, obviously I had all the bottom end cut out. You know, this track was playing completely flat. So, you know, you obviously don't want the bottom end to interfere with the track that's kind of driving the set forward. I want this track to sound full and I want the vocals and the little stabs to sound more like an accompaniment to this track, like a little flavouring to the track. Which is why I had the track somewhere like, EQ wise, I had the track around here because, you know, you kind of want the vocals to cut through, which occupy the mid range, and, you know, obviously you want a bit of the top end if you want the stabs to really cut through. So yeah, it's about making space, especially if you're mixing 3 tracks at a time. You really have to be careful. I normally use the Allen and Heath mixer because it gives you more control over the frequency bands. It obviously has 4 EQ knobs instead of 3.